right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rocker Dog Podcast, the show that talks to musicians about their dogs and the value these companions bring to their lives. I'm your host, Tim Dill, coming to you with my valued companions sitting at my feet, and today we are extremely psyched to bring you our conversation with drummer Rufus Taylor of The Darkness, who will be releasing their new album, Dreams on Toast, on March 28th, and are currently on a UK tour that stretches through October with a break here and there. And this is his show-running Rocker Dog.
This is the Don. His full name is Don Vito. I didn't stick Corleone on there, but he does run this whole area around where I live.
Great.
And yeah, he's pretty famous. All the pub barmen all know him. Yeah, he's a dude.
How old is he?
He's 4. Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny just picking him up. What's he weigh in at? Do you know?
10 kilos exactly.
Okay. So I start off most of the shows by just finding a little bit of context to how the dog came into your life. So if we go back 4 years, why a Boston Terrier? Why the Don? What was going on in your life?
Well, it was COVID. We were locked down in England, but there was a second lockdown where I was in the countryside. It was kind of the first. It was the only time I knew I had at least a year or more, at home without working, without touring, which was the first time in forever, and I probably don't know if I'll get that chance again, but so that's how I kind of decided that if I was to raise a pup, it would be that was the time to do it. So
okay. And how did you find Don in particular?
I always wanted a Boston Terrier because my buddy Taylor Hawkins always had he had one like years ago when I was a kid called Bud, who was hilarious. And I just thought that was the funniest dog I'd ever met in my life. And his family still has one called Francis, who's also one of the funniest dogs you've ever met in your life. So yeah, I just had to. It had to be a Bostie. I was like, yeah, these guys are so me.
That's funny. Well, I looked it up on the American Kennel Club, and their description is just that: a bright dog with a natural gift for comedy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
And you recently posted your description was that Don embodies what the rock and roll party cowboy is all about.
Yeah.
He lives and breathes it. So besides not reading any Tolstoy per the song's lyrics, how does Don fit the profile?
He just doesn't give a Yeah, I think it's because I've spoiled the crap out of him. So he doesn't know hardship. So yeah, everything's just his way, and he runs the show for sure.
Yeah, the way it should be. Well, fitting for his name as well. I mean, does he take kickbacks amongst the neighborhood?
Yeah. He's known by everyone who has a dog in my neighborhood, and all the pubs. We meet up in the pubs with the dogs sometimes, which is funny. So, but all the Italian barmen, especially because he's called Don Vito, they're like, "Hey, Don Vito!" It's fun.
That's the best. Well, it's interesting because the next post I was going to go to was about how well trained he was, and you said people are always blown away how well he listens to you. And you went on to say that it was your grandmother who instilled that you train with love, never punishment.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Did you train the dog yourself, or did you like hire a trainer and kind of collaborate?
No, I trained him myself. Yeah, I did it all myself, which is I think that's important in a way. I don't know. That's the way my mum did it with our dogs growing up, and my grandma always had two dogs, and she always did it that way. So she sort of instilled that in us. I don't know. You see how they react with them, and it's like, okay, well, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's all the onus is on the owner. You got to put in the work to train the dog. But you segue nicely into my next question, which is your history with dogs. So it does sound like your family's always had dogs. Your grandparents have had dogs. Is that the case?
Yeah, it was the case with my grandma on my mother's side and my mum. We had dogs growing up. Yeah, we had a Cocker Spaniel when I was born called Lucy, who was a really funny dog, really overprotective of the family, and once saw her beat up a German Shepherd.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, it was quite a sight. He was leaping in at my baby sister at the time, so it was pretty impressive.
Wow.
But and then we had a lab and for a long time called Daisy, who was just amazing, and yeah, now we've got our own dogs. But oh, I had a Springer Spaniel as well. It was
Okay.
lovely. Yeah,
You mentioned Daisy, and again, I get all my information from social media, so I just pour through your account. And
yeah,
back
yeah,
in 2016, unfortunately, you had to say goodbye to Daisy, but you eulogized her by saying she was the kindest, sweetest, most gentle dog you had ever known.
yeah.
And you went on to say, "We'll never forget you and how you looked after us all these years." So I'm curious, and you mentioned the dog fending off the German Shepherd. Was Daisy the same way? Was she very protective of you as kids?
Yeah, if it came down to it, yeah, but she never really had to deal with any of that. I don't know, she was more in the way of a nanny. If I've got two younger sisters, so if they ever had a bad day or anything, they would come back and cry, but they would do it in her bed, with her, like on her, and
Yeah,
she would just listen and it's just I don't know.
yeah,
I think they're great for kids. Dogs are great, so great for kids.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Now, do you lean on your dogs in the same way you just described? Are dogs like they help you mentally at times?
100%, yeah, definitely. I think like you'll never get it until you actually have one yourself and it's completely your responsibility. But I think the whole walking it twice a day, getting you outside, doing that kind of routine and even cleaning up it's I don't know, there's something about it. It's something about acting selflessly, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Like every day. And that's just good. And
Yeah.
and
No, I
they
hear you.
they pay you in spades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine there's times when you're leaning over to pick up after your dog that you're thinking, I play the drums for an international rock band that fills stadiums around the world. Like, I
I've
don't need
actually
this,
had
I
a
don't need this
guy.
dog to humble me.
I actually had a guy about a year ago. He was cycling on a tandem bike with his son. He had like a 12-year-old or 10-year-old son on the back or something, and they were both cycling down the river. And I was cleaning up after him, and I went, "Nice one, buddy," like that, as I usually do. And then this guy cycled past and he went, "Oh, hi, Rufus. That's the drummer in the darkness. He's a great," like this. And I was like, "Oh, that's great." Just as I'm on my knees, like cleaning up his mess.
I love it. I love it. It's
That was good.
perfect. Now, I wasn't able to confirm anything, but your Darkness bandmates, do any of those guys, dog guys?
Yeah, Justin is, and Dan used. Actually, we all are really. Dan sort of, he's he had a dog for years who just passed away sadly called Hugo, who was awesome, awesome black lab. But he kind of moaned about him the whole time he was alive, and then and then when he lost him, he kind of realized how
Yeah.
big of a part of the family he was. He actually wrote a song about him, and so did I actually. I mean, they're both on this album.
Which
Well,
ones?
they're actually going to be the bonus tracks. The
Okay.
yeah,
The
yeah,
B-sides?
on the deluxe. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm trying to bring, a lot of times I try to bring the band into the fold and how the dogs interact or come in and out of, what you do as artists. And I noticed, do the dogs come to the studio? Do they ever go on tour?
He's in the studio all the time with me. He's like the band's mascot at this point, and writing trips and stuff like that. But I just think touring's too stressful at this point. I think one day maybe, but I just think nah. He needs his 2 walks a day and stuff, and
Yeah.
he'll just get stressed out.
Yeah. Now, was Bonnie Justin's dog?
Yeah, Bonnie was Justin's dog. She was great.
And she had gone on tour, at least a stint, it looked like at one point.
Yeah, she did one European tour with us, which was really funny. And she's a bit smaller than Don, so she was a bit easier to handle. But there was we had a good relationship, me and Bonnie. She was great. There was one time on the bus, I tried to shock Justin by like opening his curtain and his bunk and go boo like that. And as I did it, I forgot that she was in there and she was lying on his chest and she headbutted me as soon as I did, as soon as I did it.
I love that. And your video, Jussie's Girl video, whose dog is in that? Or is that a pro?
No, but bro, that was Bonnie. That was Frankie's dog with his yeah, his now ex-partner, but we don't see
Okay.
Bonnie in.
Bonnie went that way with the split.
Yeah, yeah. Sad for
And
Frankie.
I can't remember where I saw this. I think it was there's pictures of your new album, Dreams on Toast, available on vinyl, CD, and cassette. And one of the cassettes, Don
Yeah,
was the cover. Is that a real thing?
it is a real thing, and he's outselling all of us apparently, um, which is great. I love to hear that. Yeah, he's got his own cassette. That was our man from Cooking Vinyl's idea, Tom.
I like that. I like that
Yeah,
idea. Now, are the band dogs ever in competition for stuff like this?
no, I think the band's all unanimous. The Don just across the board just ticks all the boxes, you know. He,
All right.
he's the man.
And I'm sorry to circle back. I don't want to let this go too far, but your B-sides that you mentioned, like how do the dogs play into that? Is it lyrically or is it loosely, abstractly influenced?
Yeah, it's slightly like that. It started with, I guess, with mine. We were on our second riding trip in Switzerland at Justin's house, and he's got guitars in every room. You know, he's got like 100 guitars in that place, and so we were all playing on the first day in different rooms, and Dan was kind of walking through, and I was playing an idea that I'd already done a demo of it, kind of thing, and over the last 2 months before that or something. And he liked the sound of it, so I played him the demo, and then and then the whole band heard it, and they went, "Is that about Don? That has to be about the Don?" And I'm like, because I kind of wrote it like it was about a woman or something, could be
Right.
about a woman. And I was like, how do you know that? I tried to, hide that. And they said, well, because, that sentiment's it's so real. I know it's about the Don right now.
I love it. I can't wait to hear it and expose it.
Yeah, yeah.
A couple other names I want to throw out. Just this is back to it's. I can't place where you're at some of these posts, but like you said, you go on these writing expeditions and wherever you're recording. Who's
Yeah.
Monty the Monster?
Monty. He's the dog of. He's basically my dad's gardener. He's an awesome guy. This guy called Pete. He's a really cool guy. He's like a medieval blacksmith or something. But he always has these huge dogs,
Yeah, he looked big.
and I just love these dogs. But Monty is one of the biggest I've ever seen. He's definitely the biggest he's ever had, I think.
Yeah,
But I think he's like 55 kilos, or he was last I saw him. But his head is like bigger than mine, you know.
yeah.
Uh,
It looked
He's
like it.
one of those old school American bulldogs. Yeah, he's great. Really cool.
And then who's Tango and his much dumber brother Russell? They're
They-
boxers.
yeah, both boxers. Russell was just a huge boxer. Yeah, I was close with all of those dogs. But sadly, Tango and Russell have passed. But now we've got Monty, the brute. He was actually run over by a car. He was actually run over by a car over his neck, and he shook it off like it was nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say
completely.
you should see the car. That's the joke.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, lovely dog though.
Well, I wrap up the show with what I call the Zoomies, and that's just five fast, frivolous questions. The
Yeah,
first question I already have the answer to, so I'm going to change it, but it's usually do you kiss your dog on the mouth or allow your dog to lick your face? And I've seen it 100 times on your Instagram, so I know that answer. So let's change it to does Don have groupies?
yeah, he does. He does definitely. Yeah.
Human and dog?
100%. Yeah, both. Yeah, yeah, both.
Okay.
Equal.
Well, I imagine he seems to be an extension of your persona. So I imagine if you guys do meet and greets, do fans, bring him up often to you?
They do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, he's pretty famous now, I think. He's even been featured in a couple of magazines.
Has he really?
Yeah, yeah. He's just kicking ass. His career's taken off way, way more than at a much faster speed than mine.
Question two is does Don have a theme song?
Oh, It's got to be like some Frank Sinatra or something cool like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't pick a
Okay.
song right, but yeah.
Question three. This is hypothetical. You did say he doesn't tour
James
with you.
Brown. Sorry, I changed my answer. It's James
Okay.
Brown. It's James Brown.
Which song?
Maybe Kansas City when he does
Okay.
that. Just yeah, that's him walking every day. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Question three. This is hypothetical because he does not tour with you. But if he was to go on tour, what would be on his tour rider?
Well, he's got a whole harem of toys. These bears and elephants, and there's even a pineapple and a tortoise and everything. But yeah, they get a seeing too, once a day and or twice a day if he's feeling frisky. But so yeah, they have to go with him at all times,
Okay.
or at least a couple of them.
Okay. Question four. This is something I haven't heard on your social media, but do you have a dog voice? Do you speak to him in a certain way?
Yeah, I just kind of do the Marlin thing.
What's
Hey,
that?
Dom.
Okay,
Yeah,
the Godfather Marlin.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Part B of that question: do you channel a voice? Do you channel like the same? Is he have his own mafia voice as well?
Yeah, he taps into like East End gangster as well from London. He's got a few different characters. His face easily pulls off, you know.
Yeah,
And yeah, if I say morning to him in the morning, he'll just do this. Like, it's kind of incredible, you know.
I love it. I love it. And finally, question five: I always ask my guests if there's a shout out they'd like to give to a dog organization or a service.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Battersea Dog Home, but I'll also say his name's is spelt Chow Michael underscroll the Sound of Animals. I think that guy, what he's doing is incredible. He's just rescuing thousands of dogs in Thailand and
Oh,
all
right.
over. He's just yeah, just doing giving everything that he has to doing that and yeah, they have an amazing life with him. It's really cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they did a whole big campaign against the dog meat
I hope
trade.
so, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
horrific.
But and with a lot of success, I think they got it banned.
Oh, good. Check
Well,
that out.
as I said, Dreams on Toast is out March 28th. You're touring quite a bit. Your documentary is coming out. But to talk a little bit about Dreams on Toast, what I've always loved about The Darkness is just, to me, you guys celebrate rock and roll. I mean, you unabashedly kind of wear your influences on your sleeve. I got a chance to listen to the album myself, but I'm curious, who kind of, are there any bands or eras that kind of influenced this go round?
I mean, it's always just a mixture of, as you said, it's we wear our influences on our sleeve, you know. It's just whatever the song feels like. It just might have a certain vibe towards, ELO or AC/DC, this one or whatever, you know.
Hmm.
But it's just the songs we like to play and we have fun writing and they come natural. And all our favorite all those guys wore their influences on their sleeve as well. You
Yeah,
can't deny it. It's there's Little Richard all over everyone. You know what I mean? So
yep, yep.
it still feels the most fun. It's never gets boring. It's one of those genres that everyone in the room is in exactly the same vibe. They're all in the same exact spot together,
Yeah,
and it's yeah, I think that's still really special. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I don't know who described it, but there's a lot of flavors in that one album.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious, are there any new flavors for you? Like I know there's a
Uh,
couple country tinge songs.
yeah, we've dabbled in other stuff like that before, but not like, kind of full tilt like we have in these two numbers. But I really love them both, especially Cold Hearted Women. For me personally, I love that song. I did the BVs behind Justin on that, and I just love it. I just love that song. Like I could listen to it over and over. But yeah, there was a few new things. Like I mean, I've never sung a song lead. So that was a new one for me, and I did that on the Don song, obviously. So that was all new, and writing the parts and stuff, and coming up with as much as I could. And Justin was really cool about all that. He was very open with me writing the solo with him, and I just got him to be his version of Jeff Beck for 3 minutes. It
Yeah.
was it was amazing. It was really really cool to have that, and yeah, I guess that was the newest thing for me.
Okay. What's the title of the song, of the Don song?
My Only.
What is My
Cheesy.
Only?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. It's perfect. It's
Yeah, yeah.
perfect. Well, I got my eye on the clock. Well, Rufus, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time and giving me the lowdown on the Don. It's a pleasure watching your social media, and he is a funny, funny dog.
Yeah,
And
thank
like I
you.
said, I know the Darkness has a packed schedule, so best of luck with everything. The new album's
Thanks, man.
fantastic. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to play live.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. Love the podcast.
Oh, thanks.